Hey, aunties. It's Garris from Seattle. What's brewing today?
Hey, it's Martin Luther King Day.
Ask Your Aunties. Dating to marry?
And Dem Debate. Again. So get your cups ready for MinoriTea Report.
Hey, aunties. How y'all doing?
Happy
morning,
MLK
dudes.
Day.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
I'm black and I'm proud today.
I'm black
Now.
by popular demand, okay?
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Kevin.
Okay, so before we get into it, Kerel, maybe we should tell them a little bit about our little exchange today through IG.
Wait, the photo one?
Yes.
So Dawon sends me we all talk to each other all day, every day, it seems like. And Dawon sent me a picture with an IG, and I didn't see it for a while. And so
A DM.
I look at it like in a DM, and he goes, "Don't click on that." And you don't tell a gay guy not to click on something. You assume that it's going to be like something nasty or something, you know? And so I didn't click on it for a little bit. Like, went back to scrolling the IG real quick. Because I was like, oh my God, what the hell did he accidentally send me? But then curiosity killed the cat. So I was like, shit, I'm about to click this bitch. And it was just Dawon like posing in the mirror. I was like, oh, bop womp.
Look, I thought it was gonna be something good too. I was like, hey, what was it?
I was like, oh Lord. And then Dawon's like, oh, you clicked it though, didn't you?
Right, I know. Because she didn't respond for like ever. And you know, she always on that phone. So like, I was just like, oh my gosh, no, like that was not meant for you. Like, you don't even have to open it. But then I realized, like, who am I talking to? The Kerel of the Kerels. Who,
Exactly.
So I was like,
I'm
she
gonna
was
click
going,
it.
so she knew in her mind, this could have been my cakes and goodies. And she gonna look at it.
My goodies. My goodies.
Look, and she was
My
gonna be like,
goodies.
your fault.
Right,
It's like, you should
exactly.
And that's why the
be
teacher said,
careful.
check your work. Check your work.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how we started today. I was like, oh Lord. He was like, oh, you clicked it though. You nasty.
So we ain't
like,
having
bitch,
no
you
secrets
nasty.
between us aunties. None whatsoever.
Look, here's the thing. You know, the best part is when she sent the picture in the group chat via iMessage, and it had like a little shade over it. So you have to
Right.
finger swipe over the photo. That's when you know it's going to be nasty.
Yeah,
That's when you don't know you
true.
see some dangling from Dawon when you got to
Right.
swipe over the photo like a little scratch and sniff.
Let's be clear. It's not of me. It's from me, not of
True.
me.
Right.
True. It's
clear.
from her.
I don't. Dawon's even like bougie in the way he sends his nasty pictures. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna be nice and considerate and put the little
Right.
glaze on top of
Right.
it, so they had to swipe over it.
But you know,
Just in case
sometimes
they
when
in
you send
public
it,
when they open it up.
that's the
Right.
thing. Because
It's very
you know,
kind of you.
listen, not all of us has the luxury of working from home every single day, and we be at meetings, and sometimes when the picture pops up and it's all exposed,
Facts.
you never know
True.
who might be
Facts.
looking.
True.
So
I can't even open my Instagram in public. I'd be like, no, not the
I
gamble
know.
today.
not Instagram.
You don't know who cakes or bulge you gonna see or muscles, half naked person you gonna see on Instagram.
Oh my.
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all,
Absolutely.
the DMs from y'all today. I mean. See,
What?
See, community, y'all don't know what I have to deal with these two. Auntie
We need to have the
Hennessy-
minority report after dark.
Right, exactly. I was on the train today, coming home, fighting rush hour traffic, all the people in New York. And it's crowded. There's like a little old Chinese woman underneath my armpit. There's like a big old tall dude standing right next to me. You know, like, and so I'm just scrolling through Instagram and I see ding, ding on my little Instagram DMs, and it's pictures and just dangling
It's not our
and
fault.
slinkies.
these dudes just be posting all their goodies out there. So I feel like I got to share amongst my aunties.
I'm glad to see I don't normally send those ones. I send like the ratchet ones. I send the ratchet ones.
That is true. I send the nasty ones, and that's not even like like I'm in another group with some other people, some other friends of ours, and we be sending like the real nasty.
And Instagram.
Girl, I'm not gonna put all my business.
She already
out
said
there,
she got 2 Twitter accounts. We know what's up.
Fact. No, 3. Minority Report, my own, and then the
nasty one. The triple X one. Where all her friends got OnlyFans accounts.
Twitter, I definitely don't open Twitter up in public. Like Twitter is just nasty now.
I opened up Twitter in a meeting today. And then there was like 3 dicks. I was like, oh.
Twitter be nasty.
Like, nobody was walking behind me, but
in one hole or just in your face, like right there. No, I'm kidding.
Girl, doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter.
It was just
hashtag
there.
SOMF.
Right.
Well, good morning, community.
Good morning.
And
shout out to my boo Garris for bringing us in on the intro today.
Yes, thank you,
girl.
Come on, sis, bring us in.
But next time, put an extra little stank on it, though. You was playing it too cool for school on this opening. Next time, send us one where you going in.
She do be singing at karaoke. She do be singing. Yeah.
See, now this is the problem that I have with y'all out there. See, but first of all. Thank you for everybody who sent in your first initial takes. But kudos goes out to the ones that really kind of like put some extra sauce on it because it really pays off and we really love it. And don't get me wrong, like we love all y'all intros. So please continue to bring those in,
Absolutely.
But y'all can get a little extra with it.
We want to feel your personality.
Exactly.
Hear your personality through it. Come on.
We're giving you the script,
off right.
But we're not directing it. So you can put a little extra on it and send it on into it. Sing it, say it in your native tongue, have you and your friends say it to us.
Exactly. Your kid, like last week's, anything. Be creative with it. We like the creativity.
See, we take it. See, it's 2020. We got to take things to the next level this year. We can't just do the basics. We have to take things up a notch. So I'm putting that out there for y'all, for all of y'all that are trying to like do your New Year's resolutions right now. New Year's resolute to do a much better intro for Minority Report.
New Year's resolute.
I'm dying because I can just see Garris' face right now as she listening to this at the gym because she be tuned in while she at the gym. And I see her just over there power squatting like, these bitches got me. Oh, I'm going to send you another one. Watch. And she going to be like clapping. She going to be like, hey, aunties. Like, watch. I'm telling y'all.
We want all the sassafras. We want all the sassafras.
If you do it, you will be on, well, not next week, because next week we got a special episode, but the week after that, we will do back to back if you do a crazy one.
She'll be the first.
This is your challenge right now.
All right, girl.
She'll be the first.
Oh, man. But it is MLK Day today on this Monday, so we got to definitely shout out Martin Luther King Jr. for everything he's done to change this world.
Yes, ma'am.
Every time it rolls around, throughout the year, you kind of get in your routines and everything, and you just see the crazies out there. But it just gets back to this day, and you just realize one man can change the world. And it just empowers me even more every time it comes back to this day and this time period, especially living here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Like, MLK is like that dude here in Atlanta because, like, he lived here, birthed here, blah, blah, blah. And he has, like, the memorials here. So it's just like, it just really reinvigorates me every time I just think about it and the things he did for little old me to have a better life now in 2020.
I feel that. Yeah. And day, actually, while we're recording, is actually the day he was born.
His birthday today.
His birthday today, the day we're recording. So I don't know. I feel like really proud that we're recording on his birthday and it's releasing on MLK. It's just something about that just feels like
extra black.
Yeah.
Empowering. Blackity black.
Crisp, extra crisp with a little stank on the side,
I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm blackity black. I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. I'm biggity big.
I'm blackity black.
But I will say, I got to remind everybody that's listening, the work still needs to be continued.
Absolutely.
And we know this just by all the hate crimes that are happening out there in the world still today to us POCs, especially our black men that are being just murdered on a daily basis without justice.
And our transgender community.
Our transgender women that are being murdered every day on the daily without justice. We are still being attacked.
And it's not just the Black community. It's like all people of color.
It's the whole POC,
Absolutely.
LGBT plus community.
Yep, all minorities.
So I encourage everyone, if you're listening, like if you're in a city where there's an MLK rally, a parade or something going, take your lunch break, take some time, take 30 minutes today and just go be present at the rally. It makes a difference. And I'm telling you, your battery's going to be re-energized. Like, please, please, please do it. I'll be there. I'm actually going to be live on Monday for the MLK rally here in Seattle.
Nice.
So I will be there. I took my PTO.
Look for us on IG and everything.
Yep.
Awesome.
I think it just goes back to like one of the reasons why we started this podcast, which is to raise awareness to the things that are going on and help, like put a voice to how you can be an ally in your own special way. Like, your way of protest, your way of standing up and being an ally doesn't have to look like everyone else's. And I think people feel like they have to do really, really big things. Like Martin Luther King did some amazing things, but not everybody is Martin Luther King. But that doesn't mean that their contributions don't have as much of an impact. So I would encourage, everyone to really think about like, where can you be an ally and for whom? Just with this podcast, we sat last weekend and talked about, kind of some goals going into this year and some things that we wanted to do to make sure that we're raising more attention to general people of color, not just Black people of color and, other parts of the LGBTQ plus spectrum and things of that nature. So start where you're at and just make a conscious choice to be a little bit more active in how you're being an ally for other people.
Yeah, there's power in numbers.
I agree. And it's interesting. This year, this is the first time that I will actually have MLK Day off.
Oh, I was just about to say, I still ain't got it off.
Forever. Like, because my prior company was a German company, so they like, MLK, whatever, and it wasn't a U.S.-based company. So it's interesting to now be in a new job where they give us this day off. So I'm happy, excited, proud, and going to see what's going on here in Atlanta during that day. So, yeah, but even in college, we didn't get that day off. And high school, I'm trying to think, we didn't get that day. Like, it's been probably since like elementary school.
We got it off in high school.
Wow.
No.
That was our first. That was our first day off after the new year, after coming back from the break, was MLK Day.
Like, I think we had it for a while, and then they changed up the schedule, and we didn't have it. Because, like, the company my dad worked at, they always did a huge Martin Luther King, almost like a luncheon brunch kind of thing, where, like, all the choirs in the area would sing, and all the people that worked at that company would actually form a choir and sing. So, like, my parents for a while would, like, let us get out of school to attend that because it was just important to, learn the history, learn what we could do to better our communities and everything. So they would always have, like, Martin Luther King's daughter come and speak every year, or some prominent Black cultural icon, honestly, every year speak at these luncheons every year. So it was awesome. So, like, that's some of my fondest memories growing up, is this day because of that aspect, and just being around other people of color and just being proud. And, it's just this energy when you just see people just proud to be who they are, and like the struggles we've overcome and that are continuing to try to overcome. It's awesome. So anyway, that's a long-winded answer. But thank you, MLK, because we're definitely grateful for your sacrifice and ultimately your death for what you believed in. But all right, now that we kind of been all over the place.
Look, the story arc.
From dick pics to MLK.
I know the story arc was like really wide.
It really was. But the Australian Open started yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got some news. Guess who will be seeing Serena Williams in February? She will. Because she playing in the U.S. Fed Cup out here near Seattle, Washington, and her bitch got tickets. So she gonna be seeing Serena Williams February 7th and the 8th here in Seattle. She gonna be
Right, it's like, let me check my calendar.
I know, because I think I'm going to be on the West Coast in that first week. I might.
Girl,
we working out our travel schedule for work. So I'm supposed to be going out to the West Coast, spending some time in California and Oregon. And, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Seattle.
Is.
So,
you're checking out that Cali weed.
Yep.
You know, we're going what we call competitive shopping.
Okay, now.
So we'll be basking in the ambience.
Doing the retail market
Right,
search.
exactly.
Okay, now. I know that's right.
But speaking of work, I had the most amazing day today. I was nervous a little bit about it because, I've only been with my new company for, this is my 5th week. Technically four weeks, and this is my third day after the 4th week. But I was a little bit nervous because we had a platform that I'm supposed to kind of launch, and it was selected before I even got there. And while I've had the opportunity while everybody was on vacation to kind of dive into it, determined it wasn't the right solution for us. So I had to put this proposal together to try to convince these people that I just known for 2 seconds that we need to terminate this contract, which was just signed in August of last year for this platform that I'm supposed to implement, and move to another platform. But, when I did the cost analysis, it was going to cost the company an additional $280,000 in non-platform related costs, but more of development costs. So these are just hidden costs that they wouldn't have, because they don't know this kind of platform and how it works, that they wouldn't have ever known that they would have had to have paid. And so I had that meeting today, and I, did the share the cost analysis with, my senior leadership, and they were on board. They're like, oh, it's going to save us that much money in this year. And all we have to do is say, we're not moving forward with this contract, and it's not going to cost us timeline. You're good. So I got that go ahead.
Oh,
so
that's a good feeling when you're hey.
Yes. I'm already
Congrats,
my
boo.
worth.
I know that's right.
So I just paid for my salary and a couple other people's salary already within the first month, bitch. I am laying it down.
I know that's right.
You show 'em what's up. My name is AunTea Dawon. Don't play with me.
Yes. But you know what? The cool thing about that, and I do a lot of professional coaching, executive coaching, and all that kind of stuff as part of my job. And I always tell people that when you're in your role, your brand is so important. So what are you known for? And is it a consistent experience? And one of the things that has always been important for me is having maximum impact. And what I was so proud about was within a very short period of time, I was able to not only generate a really great first impression with a lot of people that I hadn't really worked with, but do it in a really positive way that not only showed me in a positive light, but also really benefited the organization overall. And so,
doing it in that cute shirt you got on. Coming out, girl. That's a cute shirt.
You don't have to be a little cute. Thank you. I have to be a little, a little extra today. But no, I'm glad that was done.
In. That looks like a very typical outfit that I would have seen.
On my OOTD.
Yeah.
I know. You know what, community? We're going to try to make Dawon do his outfit of the day pics on Minority Report. I've been telling him to do it. You might as well. You wear cute outfits.
But y'all don't want to see that.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. And she know they do.
Exactly.
Look, I take them every day. So
I know you do.
We see them.
But I rebranded my whole Instagram away from doing outfit a day because it felt like it was just 5 years of just outfits.
I know,
and that's it. And it was just that's
and you can bring them over to Minority Report. Come on, Auntie.
Okay,
we want to see it, or at least once a week. Come on.
Okay, we'll think about that.
Yeah, community, hit us up, DM us, spam Dawon's personal Instagram as well, because we want his outfit of the day on Minority Report. Ow.
Okay.
Speaking, I got a PSA. I need to say, if one more person tag me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, then I remind them of LaDarius from Cheer. I am going to lose it.
You do. Literally, I was watching that. I wasn't going to bring it up because I was like, I guarantee you people are hitting him up saying that. Your energy and his energy are so similar. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yes.
the attitude, the positivity, there's no gray with him on that document. And so, community members, if you don't know what we're talking about, Cheer is a documentary right now on Netflix that just launched last week. And LaDarius, I'm not sure if people know, like LaDarius, maybe about 6-8 months ago, there was a video that went viral of a black cheerleader doing the most during their cheers. And that was LaDarius from this documentary. But once you watch it, it's literally Jerrell spirit human.
Yes.
Literally.
I sat on that couch, told Corey, I was like, oh my God, that's Jerrell. I was like, oh my God, it is.
I had about like 4 people tag me on Facebook. 3 of them even recorded him doing the cheer and bending over, snapping, going back and forth, being extra. And I was like, what? I watched it, literally got done watching the first episode. And I was like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I see it.
And, have you watched the whole documentary yet?
I did.
Even as it went on, even when he was just telling, the reason why he is, I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
I was like, this is Jerrell's spirit human.
Yeah. No, it reminded me a lot about me. And I was like, man, just me having a fight and all that stuff. I was like, damn, he get it. He damn, I couldn't be mad. I honestly couldn't be mad. I was rooting for him. I was like, I'm here for you, boo. And then when they were watching Bad Girls Club, which is my fucking show, I was like, God damn. You couldn't even be any more like me. You watching I love me some Bad Girls Club. Don't play.
I never watched it.
Oh, that's my guilty pleasure.
I watched it maybe one of the first seasons, parts of it, and I was just like, this is
too much.
That's ratchet. That's me. That's my shit.
Too damn much.
That's my shit. Mm-hmm. I be getting caught up, so I had to stop watching it though because it was getting in my spirit a little bit too much.
I need my ratchetness in doses. If I'm watching something that's got Tiffany New York in it, then I can't watch anything else ratchet.
Girl, I fucking love me some Tiffany Poland. I love me some her bitch. I will never forget the scene when it was like I Love New York or whatever. Or it was one of her spinoff shows, and she went to her little talent agent. She's like, she is so rude. She keeps threatening me, talking about she gonna break my legs and stuff like that.
Yes.
He was like, that's a term of endearment, as of good luck. And she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw that too.
She's talking about breaking
found
my
a way
legs.
to stay getting her 15 minutes relevant. Are now 45 minutes, and I don't know how.
Well, I look because she's making the gay circuit right now. She because she was here for a Pride in for Seattle this past year, and I see her in a bunch of Instagram stories at different LGBT gay events. As one of the hosts or whatever.
And she has a little it's called Brunch with Tiffany or something like that, or Brunch with New York or something like that. And she brings on a lot of LGBTQ plus brunchies to that show. But I love her. I love that she's just so raw with it. I could never be her friend because I know she'll stab me or something. But I could watch her through the glass
from afar.
Right, exactly. I will admire from over here while she gets arrested.
There you go.
But you know who has the best meme though for me, anyways? Not meme. The best GIF is the GIF of her mother falling out of the chair.
That is a good one.
Yes, that's a good one.
I fucking love that one.
Every time you type in dead, that's one of the first ones that come up.
And that was a hateful woman. Oh my God.
She was a hateful woman.
If you ever saw her on what was it, that show that she was on? Something about flavor of love.
Mosquito.
Yeah. Can you smell the flavor of love?
I call Flavor Flav a mosquito. He looked like a mosquito for real.
He is so disgusting looking. I mean, just and so I live in West Harlem and
Harlem, stand up.
Yes.
I don't know why I did that.
But one of the things that I've noticed is there are what I call landmines all over the place because people don't pick up after their dogs up here.
Oh, yes. So girl, when I was walking to your place, it almost got me a couple times.
Girl, it's the worst. It is the worst. And I'm like, God damn it. Why does the neighborhood is so cute and everything, but is shit everywhere.
Literally.
And sometimes it's not a dog. So I just say all that to say Flavor Flav reminds me of my neighborhood because he looks like shit.
I was about to say, how we going for Flavor Flav? He look like a piece of shit? Is that what
Yes,
you
he does. You know, that's because
Stupid
when
for
you
that.
see
That's
it,
funny.
you know shit that's been sitting out for a while. It has either one or two color affects. It either gets darker and crustier, Flavor Flav, or it gets whiter.
I can't even. I never
I'm
understood
dying
how
right
the
now.
girls could. My bestie, Z, he always had the great saying, which is, I can't sit on something I can't look at. Let that sit for a little bit. Like, damn.
Absolute facts.
Like, you're right. Like, ooh. No.
No.
Can't do it.
I don't think there's an amount of money that you could give me to have Flavor Flav sit on my face.
No.
Ooh.
Like, like, I don't know.
No.
But like, no, I ain't, no. Void my contract. Sorry.
Talk about
I'm off this show.
Wow.
Ugh.
That's
We done been
that's a
all
no for
around
me
the
too,
world.
dog.
We went from Australia Open
To MLK.
to MLK to Mosquito Man
Oh my
sitting on our
goodness.
faces. Mm-mm.
Well, community, y'all are in for one hell of an episode.
For real.
We
Speaking
back
of
in the
shows,
groove.
did you guys see the RuPaul show, AJ and the Drag Queen on Netflix?
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my.
Oh, that's
it's on
what
my
y'all
queue.
was talking about. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
we
her
were
talk show
floating
didn't
around-
get picked up. By the way,
Oh, it did?
No,
It did.
No, I don't
they
know
got
who's
canceled.
watching it. I made a resolution doesn't have anything to do with New Year's, but a resolution. I'm kind of done with RuPaul's Drag Race. And I was
Are
a
you?
diehard. Yeah, I was a diehard. I didn't watch the UK. I'm just like, it's, you know how like all these competition shows, there's mostly storyline attached to it. And when it first starts out, it's really more of a competition, but as it matures, it gets more like scripted and whatnot. And it takes all of the enjoyment out of it. Like, I don't even enjoy like the lip syncs anymore, which is really what I watch for. Like, you just want to see who's going to be in the bottom and then see what
I know
song they're
Corey
going to
just watches
sing.
for Rue's reveal. He's like, I just want to see Rue rocked on the catwalk and maybe the lip sync.
Right. So like the rest of the show is kind of like bullshit, you know, but like anymore, like the lip sync is like, it's so scripted and staged anyway. And the songs are really not that good. So you're picking bullshit songs and they're doing bullshit lip syncs. And then it's just a whole show of bullshit. So
Girl, they
I
about
was
to
like, I'm
at
out.
you. They about to at you.
Right.
Come for me.
Say, don't.
I'm
Dawon
sending-
said that.
No, look,
that was
I'm
Auntie
not
Dawon.
like Kenya Moore.
Don't at me.
I'm not like, look, don't let the
At
Chardonnay
Auntie
fool you.
Dawon.
I'm not like Kenya Moore. I'm sending for you.
What's her name? That was on Housewives the first season. She's like, who gonna check me, boo?
Sheree.
Sheree, yes. That's what she giving me right. She giving me very Sheree right now.
Dawon is very she like Sheree.
Yeah, she is very she.
See,
like,
you know what? That's a read. That's not even a comparison. That's a motherfucking read. Because I am not that tacky. I'm not that tacky.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Okay, I was about to say, are you about to?
That is true. That is true.
Come on now.
That is true.
Now I don't
So
know
wait,
which
which
of the
housewife
Atlanta
would you
house.
be from
That's
Atlanta?
what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to think. Which one would I be? I would say,
You might be
what's her name?
Phaedra in a way.
no, don't put me
Because-
in there with her. No,
Well, I mean, not the crazy ending.
not the
of
crazy
Phaedra.
end, but the very like
But,
Southern
like,
Belle
Southern Belle.
charm way.
Like you sneak your reads in there, and then if people provoke you, then that's when you go hard, and that's how Phaedra was. Like Phaedra, she would get her reads in there, she'd be cool,
You know
calm, and
what?
collected, but then she would read you for absolute filth if you kept poking her.
I'll cop to that. Now that I think about it, I'll cop to that. I had a visceral reaction to Phaedra because she makes them really weird faces, but I'm like, damn, I make them really weird faces too. Because you every time you see Phaedra on the show, she's always like, oh, like she's making those faces. And I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of do that, but I just didn't like how she exited the show. Like, I didn't like the fact that she was a liar.
Yes,
and she should have known better being a lawyer. Like,
absolutely.
If you're gonna lie, you better make sure it's convincing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
I agree.
We don't have the same business ethic. Let's put it that way.
There we go.
But we may have the same affect.
Okay, so then who would you say you were?
Okay, so who would you all say you were?
I don't know. I'm probably more like a Candy.
You are Candy.
Or like Cynthia vibe more than anything. Because I'm not, like, I don't think the closest one to Nene is going to be Jerrell.
Yo.
Jerrell's like Nene and Kenya.
I'm not that damn messy.
No. You actually know who Jerrell is? Marlo.
I'll take it. I saw Marlo here in Atlanta. Marlo is gorgeous.
She is.
Like, Corey and I walked past her. We were like, why was she that pretty?
I can see myself being like Marlo. I can definitely see myself like Marlo. Like, I'm that friend on the side. I'd be like, what you say about my friend? Well, what I heard is this and this and this and this. And I said what I said, you know, like,
that's
I'm
true.
on the side. Like, I don't need to be in the front. I don't need to be in the front.
That's true.
But guess what? I'll be in the back, loud as hell. And you're going to hear me like I'm in the front.
She's like, I don't need a peach. I'm still getting that airtime, bitch.
Right.
Look.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're right. Jerrell is more Marlo.
Yeah. But I don't know. I can kind of see you as a Candy, though, too, Kerel. And then, like, because I see you be like, the lies with her hands. And she'd be like, that face she makes. I just, it's so you.
And the killer part about it, that was such a stupid storyline. It was just like, she said you had a sex dungeon. And, like, you know, and like,
exactly.
Well, the drugging part was horrible, but like the whole sex dungeon thing was like, okay, well, you know, who cares?
Right.
And Candy's a little nasty on the side too. That's what I like about Candy.
Yeah. And like she said, she's like, I ain't got no problem sharing my stuff. Like, I'll let you know. Very Kerel. Very Kerel. Yeah,
that's very.
That's what I like about Candy on that show. And I don't know how we got on Housewives now. I like Candy because Candy is the only one on there. She's like, I don't need this show.
Yeah.
She's like, this is just a cherry on top. Yeah. I got a career.
But I think she delivers on the show. Like she brings a lot to the show, and like, because she's the one that's like cool enough with a lot of people that have, even if she has beef with somebody, she's still like she's the one that initiates conversations.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I like that about her.
And she's a little messy here and there, but she seems to be kind of the most grounded on the show. The rest of them almost seem like they could kind of ham it up for the cameras. At the end of the day, Candy's like, this is the situation. Let's squash this shit now because this is stupid while you like wilding out right now. Like,
her confessionals be cracking me up though.
Have you watched the season at all?
I have. Yeah, I've been following along, and it's been.
Y'all saw the Toronto episode?
Girl, that get down.
They was fighting about nothing.
Here's the thing that I don't understand
about nothing.
Okay, here's the thing that I don't understand. Like the whole thing was about somebody who recorded. Okay, so since you hadn't watched it yet, there was this thing going around where because Cynthia and Nene were not getting along or whatever, and apparently Nene said to Candy that somebody within the friendship group, meaning the 8 girls that are on the show, had recorded Cynthia bad talking about Nene. So nobody was really upset about what she was saying, but they were upset about the fact that somebody was secretly recording a conversation. Right. So it became this whole thing to figure out who was the person that actually did the recording. Well, it could have only been one of 3 people or a lie. It was either Nene herself, which that would have been hard to do because she was talking about Nene. It would have been Marlo, because Marlo and Cynthia always have conversations. It could have been the new girl, Shania, something. I don't know what her name is, but she calls herself that bitch. Is that
right? One. Don't it start with like a T, like Tavia or something like that?
Girl,
who knows?
Right,
I don't know.
Right. So her. Okay. Or it was a lie. And so they're all together. Nene's in the room, and they ask her point blank who it is. And Nene's going to be like, oh, well, it's not up for me to say who it is. So then they get into this whole fight over Well, first of all, yo ass, Miss Marlowe, she the one that went completely left and like took the whole conversation to a completely different.
She spiraled that whole conversation.
So a point blank question was asked to Nene, who is the snake? And then Marlo starts talking about Cynthia's braids. Like dogging her out about her fucking hair and shit from no apparent reason. Then Cynthia and Marlo started getting into it and it just boiled out of nothing.
And then Candy's sitting there just like, ugh. Like, this is so stupid. If that would be me, I'd be like, this is the stupidest shit.
Right, exactly.
This ain't about nothing.
Right.
Oh, man. Community, it's a good show. I never watched Housewives until maybe 3 years ago, 4 years, or pretty much whenever Corey and I moved in together. So what's that? 2015. So I guess 5 years. Wow. And he watches all of them and is in love with all of them. And so just over time, certain cities I enjoy. I like Atlanta. I like Jersey.
That's the only one I watch. I only watch
And
Atlanta.
I like Beverly Hills. Those are the three that I could watch. The rest of them, I'm like, ugh. And I'm almost getting to like, about all of them. But at least these are the three I could tolerate at this point. But anyway, we've been all over the world. Fire up Serena. Come on, Serena, for Australian Open. I still watch RuPaul. I'm trying to put closure on these conversations that we just kind of skirted over. But they do got a celebrity season coming up on RuPaul's Drag Race that I'm interested in to see what celebrities will actually do it. So we'll see what happens.
Well, if they do it well, like they do lip sync battle, then I'll be down for it. But if it's going to be like one of those, again, bullshit seasons where it's completely scripted, like, for example, they did a RuPaul Christmas special where they brought back a bunch of their queens to do like a competition, but it ended up, the whole thing ended up being like a musical. It was like literally a 90-minute musical. And I was like, this is some bullshit. So if they do it kind of like the lip sync battle where they actually take it seriously, that would be amazing.
I agree. And the All-Star seasons are still pretty good because, like, at least like some of the stuff, it just shows you how much they've stepped their game up after being on the show. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the new seasons or whatever with the new drag queens, the show's been on so long now that everyone is so polished that you don't see the glow up as much anymore.
Right. See, I would love to see if I still watch. I would love to see like a newbie season where they're all new, where they've been doing drag for like 6 months or less, or they've never done drag at all. Like, I think that would be. There
was one person on the UK season, this past one, that he literally within the year had just started doing drag. Mm-hmm. But even then, he was so polished just because of YouTube tutorials, and that you almost miss the struggle and the come up. Like, you want to root for somebody. And if you're already that seasoned and polished, like, there's nothing really to root for the glow up part of it. So
I don't watch the show at all. But I'll watch it. That's another show. If they do a celebrity season, I'll watch it. Because, I mean, it's actually really smart because if you think of shows like The Masked Singer that's out, like that show is hot right now. And everyone loves the grand reveals for that show. So
which celebrities would you guys like to see in there?
I don't even know.
And I think we talked about this on the previous episode of like who we would want to see in drag. But for that particular show, I mean, I hope they still tap into the LGBTQ community. I hope
it's not what would be bad?
What?
I mean, not bad in a bad way, but bad in a good way. What would be awesome is if they did a show off between John Leguizamo and Wesley Snipes.
That'd be cool if they brought them as even if they didn't want to do the drag, bring them in as like
guest panels.
Those characters from
that'd be cute.
Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be cool.
Yeah. Yes, come on,
because that would be a throwback.
Come on, Noxema Jackson. She said, "We,
Oh man, so okay. It's that part of the episode that everybody loves and that we love. And what time is it?
Ask your aunties.
Why we all shimmy our shoulders?
Because you got to feel it in your soul, in your titties. Oh, man.
What did we listen? Did we take edibles? I mean, what is going on right now?
I don't know.
I mean, you
We're just back
supplying?
in the groove again. What'd you say?
I asked her, she was supplying. She asked a question.
Right.
And I was like, look.
That is true. That is
Come
your
on,
job. What you got,
discount.
girl? Let's see here. Okay, I got the AskYoAunTeas this week. And it's a quick and simple one, actually. It's and obviously we're all in long-term relationships now, so we got to kind of almost put our throwback hats on. But do you date for experience, or do you date, or did you date to looking to get married?
So I'm going to take a stab at this. And I'm going to say I didn't do neither. I did neither.
What else
Like
is
I didn't
there?
date. I didn't date to marry because marriage was never my goal. But the subtext of that is date for a relationship, like a sustainable relationship. And yes, I did do that. And then I don't know what is meant by date for experience, because in my view, I didn't go on dates, like the true sense of the word dates, not just hooking up. I didn't go on dates unless I was interested in being in a relationship. So I know there are a lot of people out there that like date like on the regular, but they don't want a relationship or they don't want anything serious. And that has always baffled me. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about that. But like when I was single and I wasn't interested in a relationship, like when a relationship ends, I usually have to go through like just a dry spell, just to like detox and just get to know myself again and figure out what I like and what I want and blah, 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 blah. And during that time, I don't hook up with anybody. I just spend time with me, my friends, my family, and travel. And, that's it. So I don't date people because that to me becomes confusing. And then when I'm ready to start like meeting people, that's really more of like, okay, well, let's hook up or whatever. But I never like just go on dates just for like going on dates' sake. So like the experience part, I'm like, I can't relate to that.
I don't know. I guess. So there was a period of times where, and my roommates and Chu and Matt were like, so who's your female this week? Like there were times where like I was going on dates. I wasn't going on dates just to be dating. I was like trying to actually get to know someone with the intent of being in a relationship. But I will say there was time where I was like the dating experience, there were a few people in rotation, But every time I was dating someone, I always dated with the intention of like getting to be more than just, drinks and a meal and just talking and texting. Like I want an actual relationship. So I never just date to just be in a relationship just to say I had one. I always dated with the longevity of possibly marriage and having my own family and stuff like that. But whenever I wasn't though, like I still kind of like you, I had my dry spell where I was like, you know what? All those desires or needs of wanting a man can be gone and whatever time it takes my hand to be done. And I don't need no man. I'm good. Those desires are out the window real quick.
Right. Let the self-loathing begin.
Okay, for real. And then like, I'm good. I love myself. We good. We good over here. So I don't know. Me personally, I always dated with the intent of bringing around my family one day, introducing to my parents and my siblings and, creating something worth having. And now I have that. So,
yeah, I had to I had to put the throwback hat on because I've just been in this relationship so long that I'm like, damn, what was my my frame? And honestly, like before I even met Corey, I wasn't in any like long-term relationships with a guy. Corey was literally pretty much my first long-term relationship. Like I was like dating. But no one that, like, I guess I considered, I'm looking to stay here kind of thing. So I was just like, when I was dating, though, I don't know for a while there, I was just like, I'm just dating. I'm just trying to be a hoe. To be all the way real. I mean, it is what it is. But I think maybe part of it was experience just because I was probably newer out, at least specifically even to myself, like going through like my mid-20s and everything, I was just like, okay, what do I do? What what do I like? Who do I like? What, you know? And so probably was more of to get experience in gay culture and gay relationships and things like that. But then like even when it got to Corey, when I met Corey, I don't know if I was even in the mind frame of marriage. Like I said it in my vows, like I never allowed myself to think about marriage just because I was just like, growing up being closeted and being like just in a heavily religious life, I literally never allowed myself to think that far or to think that way just because I think it probably would have broke me down, honestly. Like, so I just literally closed that part of my brain and my heart, honestly, to even go and think that far. So I don't think I ever dated thinking about marriage, honestly.
Until you said that. Oh, go ahead, baby. Sorry.
Yeah. And until it was Corey, until like literally we're like a few months in, and I'm like, hold on, I kind of like this dude a lot. And this feels a little different than anything else before him, you know? And it was literally him that it was the first time that I'm like, ooh, hold on, like this might be a little long-term thing. And this was even before gay marriage was legal. So like it was only legal in certain states and things like that at that point. So I don't even think for the first little while I even thought marriage. I was just like, okay, no, he's just going to be my partner forever. But I don't even think until it was probably legalized nationwide that I even started to allow myself to even think about marriage, honestly. So it was just interesting to kind of finally go back and kind of rethink that way again. I'm like, man, I honestly don't think I ever thought about it. And it was more the experience or just to be like, I wanted to be in a relationship and things like that, but I just never allowed myself to think past being in a long-term relationship.
Yeah, for me, I guess now, like hearing you talk, I guess, yes, I've always been in the mindset if I'm dating someone that it's going to be to marriage or having some like type of long lasting relationship of this sort. Like, because otherwise, I don't know, to me, it's just wasting time. You know, and to me, like,
but I think a lot of people do that, don't you? Like a lot of people just like,
absolutely,
they go on these dates. Like, why are you going on dates and you don't even like?
But I don't think it's wasting time. Like, I mean, like, I think you're thinking, I want to commit and be in this relationship, and if things are going well, I don't think you're thinking that it's a waste of time. No,
that's not what I was saying. I was saying, like, I think the question is like, and this is where I'm trying to think what the real question is. When you get in a relationship, are you dating? Are you in the relationship with the hopes of being married? Or are you just in the relationship because you're kind of codependent? Does that make sense? Like, are you in the relationship just to say you're in a relationship? And that's where the difference between dating and the relationship comes in. So I think that's what the true question for is. And if that's the case, then yes, I've only dated with the hopes of having marriage or having something lasting long. I've never dated just to waste time or just to say I'm with someone. Because honestly, if that's the case, then I'd rather be happy by myself. Like, I don't need someone to complete me like that. But when I find someone who completes me to the point that I am thinking about marriage, that to me is someone worth dating. If that person isn't getting my mindset, I could be bad all by myself. But for real, like if a person isn't like piquing my interest or pushing me to be a better person or making me think that, man, I actually want to marry that person. If they're not bringing to the table that makes me think of the idea of marriage, to me, that's not someone that's worth giving myself to for a long period of time. If that's not where my mind is going.
Right. And I never thought like just dating and things like that I needed it to be a codependent situation. Like I've never been that kind of person. Like, it's like, I don't need your money. I don't need nothing from you except your love. Honestly, that's it. And even if you can't give me love, I'm not searching out there for someone to love me. Like you said, I could be bad all by myself. Come on, changing faces. But like, and so like thinking back, like I never sought out just because I wanted to tell people I was in a relationship. That never really appealed to me.
But we know those people out there. You see on Facebook, we all got that, 3, 4, 5 friends who go through about 5 or 6 boyfriends in a year.
Ooh.
And every time I see that status change, they in a relationship, and I'd be like, if I was a gambling man, which I'm not, but if I was, I know where I'm putting my money.
And it ain't on you.
It ain't on you.
But then I'm guess like going back to like the question, I'm just wondering from what perspective is it coming from? Because like, is it, you know, like, do people, is the underlying question, do I even need to be pursuing the idea of dating if my end goal is not for a long-term relationship or marriage? Like, I'm wondering, like, what's the underlying question? Because if that's the underlying question, you know, my recommendation or my response is no, you shouldn't. Have fun, hook up, hang out with people, but don't date people. Because in my view, like, setting up a date, oh, let's meet up for dinner, you know, oh, what are you doing Sunday afternoon? You know, what are you doing? You know, this, oh, I want to bring you to this party. Like, that kind of thing, in my view, precipitates, you know, the interest of being in a relationship. But if you're not ready for that or not wanting that, and it's okay that if you don't, then don't feel like you have to do those kinds of things. Like, I know people that will, quote unquote, date somebody so that they can bring that person to a party that's coming up next month.
Oh, see, I ain't got.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know people like that will, like, you know, meet people and hang out with them to show them off. Like, oh, you know, I got this hot guy, you know, or this girl or whatever, you know, and show them off at this event. And then after that event, oh, girl, that was nothing but you know, just a little something.
You know,
but meanwhile, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, if your underlying question is, what should your intention be? You need to get clear. You need to get clear about what you want, and that should drive your actions.
And I will say there are other people out there who are okay with with not dating to be married. Like, some people just don't want to be married. You know? And
I mean, look at Oprah and Stedman.
Yeah. You know, some people just don't want to. And that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, and so I will say this, like, if you are the type that don't want to get married, you can date and find someone who doesn't want to get married too. And you just have a long lasting relationship. I know people who have been in 14, 15 years relationships and they still aren't married. And guess what? That's okay. That doesn't mean they don't love each other. Like, being married doesn't say that you don't love your partner anymore, any less. It just changes more of the legality of what the relationship is.
Facts. And your tax bracket.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Because I'm going through it right now.
I was about to say, girl, you about to find out
our taxes. But I mean, like, part of me is just like, part of me doesn't see too much wrong. I guess it goes back to that intent and communication. We always preach that every week. If you communicate that you're not looking to get married and things like that, I think you need to say that from the get-go so you can find someone that's on the same page as you, you know, or whether you want it to be an open relationship, whatever it needs to be that works for you. I think you need to state that case from the get-go, because you don't want to lure somebody along and a year later they're thinking, oh, we're going to get married. And you're like, nah, that's not my intent. That wasn't my purpose. I didn't want to, you know. That's not fair. But I think there is something about dating, especially when you're younger, to see what you do and don't like and do and don't enjoy in the confines of kind of a relationship-ish, you know, that you just wouldn't know otherwise. So I think there are certain times where it might be, even if at the beginning you don't know it's even that it might be an experiential situation at the end of the day.
But you know what? Don't be that dude. Don't be that dude. Absolutely do not be that dude, because then you're wasting someone's time. And that person has every right to get mad at you.
I think if you
you need to figure that shit out beforehand.
State your case at the beginning.
Right.
If you state your case at the beginning saying, I'm not looking to get married anytime soon. Correct. I'm not looking to be in a long-term relationship right now. I'm enjoying out here just dating and this and that. And if that other person is on the same page with you, who the hell are we to tell them
but it's
not working?
But the other side of the coin that you said, though, like, sometimes in the case, you might not even know it at the beginning. Like,
you might not.
Right. But guess what? The other person has every right to be upset, because you are wasting that person's time if that's not what you're lying to. So
that's true too.
I would say figure that shit out beforehand. Like, absolutely figure that shit out beforehand, because you are that asshole if you don't take the time to figure your shit out, because then you're subjecting someone to go through some, or put the risk and or time into you only for you to jump ship because you don't want the same thing they want to.
Hey, I mean, that's life
sometimes.
no,
that's absolutely
not
true.
Me doing that to someone.
No, you're right.
But
That is life, but it still don't make it right, though. It still don't absolutely make it right at all.
I agree.
Like, yeah, people change.
Trump is president, and that don't make it right.
And I'm all for change. I'm all for change. I am absolutely all for change, like, and for growth, especially you figuring yourself out and you growing to becoming something better. But like you said, you got to communicate that stuff as soon as you start figuring that stuff out. A, and B,
yes.
You have to be okay with the other person feeling hurt because your change doesn't line up with their change. And especially if you go into it on one road and somehow you ended off growing onto a different path and road, like, it was okay for the other person to get mad, one, but two, it is definitely okay for you to as well to feel happy with your growth. Like, I learned last year, it could be this and that. That person can be mad, and at the same time, you can be happy for your individual growth.
Absolutely. So thank you, and I guess we could say too who sent that in. Thank you, Smithy. We shout out Smithy every episode. It seems like now.
I would love to know, like, you know, I'm so far, and we're all kind of like in the same boat. We're so far removed from like the dating scene now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not in it.
Community, chime in on this, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
this is what I want.
I want them to chime in easily.
Because I was just sitting there thinking, it would be great. What would be great is if we had, like, on our page, we had like a discussion. There was like a discussion section, not just posts, because posts get lost and you don't see them all. But like, it would be great if there was like a discussion board. We can just post this topic and just see the discussion. Because like, I would really like to know from the community, like, what is the perspective today from a person that's not in a relationship? Like, you know, I understand that there is Grindr Tinder culture where you can just swipe left and swipe right and find some dick and find a date, you know, but like, how has that impacted the dating scene? You know, if you are looking to date, you know, what are the struggles that you're running to interpersonally with yourself, and then externally with the other person? Like, I would love to understand like that a little bit more, because I feel like I'm so far removed from it that I don't have a line of sight to like what their reality is. Yeah. I mean, it's a great question, but I think helping us to understand like the intention behind the question will then help us to, you know, frame up our answers a little bit more succinctly.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree. So look out for a post. We'll probably put a post because that's the only way we know how right now. But we definitely want to hear your thoughts on this, because it is intriguing. And honestly, it could be relationships. It could be friendships. It could be anything. It's like, what do you look like? For me, all the time moving and everything, all the cities that I've been in, it's kind of the same thought process as your friendships. Are you just looking for friends because you want to do something on a Friday night? Or are you actually looking for friends that are going to help you grow and be a better human being years from now, you know? So,
I mean, to be honest, I don't call anyone a friend until, one, I understand how they affect my life and my personal vibe and, like, you know, just my sanity.
Right.
Because I already got a lot on my plate, and the last thing I need is any more mess on my plate. But yeah, I think for me, like, I look at friendships as, you know, lifelong friendships, you know, like I think about you guys and, you know, and our group, you know, and I'm just like, these are friends that I know that I'm gonna be in the old folks' home. We're gonna be all in the same damn block, bitch. And them poor CNAs gonna be so mad. They're gonna be, y'all come get y'all parents. Y'all come get y'all friends. Like, it's gonna be a hoot, you know. But like, it took a while because I really, like, I have some great friendships back in Minneapolis, but they're on a different vibe. You know, only like a handful of them are like what I have with you guys. But other than that, like, you know, it wasn't until meeting you guys that I understood, like, man, having other POC friends that just get it just changed my life. Just absolutely changed my life.
You don't got to explain yourself.
You know, you really
More
don't.
times than not.
You really don't. You know, and how often we're like, girl, right? You know, you just sit there, you just look at each other. You don't even say no words. You just look at each other and be like,
It's like,
not you know.
like us in Dallas.
Girl, that's me in the office with the handful of other black folk.
Yeah.
That's me right now in my office too.
On my floor, coincidentally, the three of us sit right next to each other. So, the conversations be lit.
Absolutely. Or that was like, I don't know if we shared this story on the podcast, but when Jerrell and I were in Dallas, we got saved by the Lord, y'all. Because we were at the bar, and this is just talking about like the looks and everything that you could give each other. We're at the bar, and I'm looking at this girl, and her tracks are all the way like messed up, and I couldn't even articulate
You could
it.
see the tracks all the way around from the left side of her cranium to the right side of her cranium. Like you can see the full ass track just running circles around her head.
It was horrible.
It was so bad.
And so I look at Jerrell, I'm like, Jerrell. And I didn't even say nothing else. I'm just like, look. And he knew exactly where to look somehow.
There, by the grace of God, go I.
And I'm like, oh my God, should we say something? Should we not? So
For
this
an
is
hour.
at the first bar.
That was the first bar.
We literally leave that bar.
Go to another bar.
And she's there again. And we're like, oh girl. Then we're like, it's destiny. We got to tell her. Somebody's got to tell her. And so it was going to be Jerrell and I. And we literally start walking towards her.
We took 3 steps. 3 steps.
And her friend grabbed her hand and started walking away to the bar. And we're like, you know what? That was God telling us we didn't need to bother her.
We didn't need to bother her at all. At all.
It's like, just leave her be. Leave her tracks be. She's living her best life right now.
For real. Or even today, Dawon, I forgot what was texted. You were like, are our cycles linked up? Because we had text up and all 3 of us were on the same page.
Oh, it's EnVogue.
Yes.
For some reason, we all saw EnVogue that same day. What a random thing for us
And
to
then
be like.
I went down a rabbit hole.
I did the same thing. I was in YouTube looking at old videos and old performances. And, sometimes you hit the playlist and there's just one right after the next.
I was sitting at my desk at work, literally listening and watching old EnVogue shit. I was like, I ain't getting no work done today. Oh, Lord. Hold on to your love. You got to hold on. Oh.
Yeah, we not harmonizing like them.
Right, so
Bro, they slayed that shit. They slayed.
Come on now. Okay, since we talking about EnVogue, what is your favorite EnVogue song?
Oh, that one. Hold on.
Is it? Okay.
Mine's is Don't Let Go.
Oh, that's a good
What's
one.
It gonna be?
From the Set It Off
'Cause
soundtrack.
I can't pretend. Hey, that's my
Don't
song.
you wanna be
More than friends. Hold me tight, and don't let go. Come on, bitch.
You better hit them notes. Oh man, I think mine is either Whatever, when they went to EV3, either Whatever or Too Gone Too Long. Too gone too long, baby. Oh man. Anyway, with this episode, I'm sorry, community. We all over.
This is the Pope Porti.
Exactly.
We're talking about everything.
Sure is. But I guess we gotta talk about it. Did y'all watch the debate? I'm so tired of politics.
Sure did not.
Did y'all watch the
I'll be
debate
so glad
this
when
week?
it's over.
Or I guess last week at this point.
I watched it. I bit the bullet and I ended up watching it. I didn't want to, but I have to show up for the community, so I did.
Especially the caucus is coming up here
I'm
in a
just
month,
trying
but-
to calm my brain and just deal with the fact that I'm going to have to vote for a white person. So I need my grieving period right now since all the POCs are falling off. And just understanding the fact that I'm just going to have to fight for a white person. I just have to vote for a white person. So I'm going to wait till I feel okay, comfortably doing that. And then I'll probably start joining again. I'm going to start paying attention and focusing on the top 3, 4, 5 people, But
I do feel there's a strong possibility that there will be a POC vice president, which will still be a first for us.
do you think so?
I think so.
I don't know.
think so.
Kind of like what you said the other day in the in the group chat, like, all I want to hear about is what they're going to do for the POC community. You know, and right now I feel like none of them are doing a good job at speaking on that. So I can't even see there being a POC vice president because they aren't even talking about us like that.
The only person that brings it up without being asked the question is Elizabeth Warren at this point. Mm-hmm. She's talking about transgenders. She's talking about black and brown folks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They specifically asked Pete Buttigieg again yesterday at the time of this recording about, okay, it sounds like you're not getting the black vote. What are you about to do about this? And he still gave like the kind of almost skirted around the issue. And in my community, we did X, Y, Z. And I think no, you didn't. Like, people in your community are saying you didn't. Like, so like, stop saying that. It's not the truth.
Yeah. He did bring up the fact that he has like, you know, a member of the Black Caucus, you know, as part of his campaign and all that. And he's so, I don't want to say the word articulate because now it has a negative connotation, but he's so expressive and clear in his messaging about everything else except this.
Right.
It's just, it's interesting that that's the case.
And I forget, someone from the community sent, like, maybe a few months ago, because obviously I'm not all the way in on Pete, has sent us just how, something online about his plans for the community, for the black community, the black and brown communities. And I read it and I was like, okay, I got it. But you should be able to articulate that live then. And you could give examples and receipts on how since a year ago to now you have done X, Y, Z. And, you know, just like, where are the data points on this? And that's what, like, and I get it. All politicians are just going to kind of give you fluff. I get it. But that's why.
And they're talking to Iowa. They're talking to Iowa, one of the whitest states in the entire United States. So it's not that really their audience there.
But they made sure they got a black girl to do the commentary. They said, we're going to put a black girl up here since we ain't about to talk about any other people of color questions. So we'll just have her give out the questions and that'll just solve the issue a little bit.
I will say this. I don't think that Pete is racist. I don't think so either. And I don't think he doesn't care about people of color.
I agree.
I think he's just one of those white people who just truly don't know what to do and feels like saying nothing is better than putting their foot in their mouth because they want to come off disrespectful or come off racist. So they say nothing to avoid hurting people of color's feelings. However, saying nothing is still doing something. And I think that's where he's missing the mark as far as needing to speak up.
I think his upbringing, I think it just shows his upbringing was probably not the most diverse situation on earth. That's the feeling I get from him. And that he's only 38 years old and that he has not been in situations enough to get a diverse perspective and the empathy and sympathy that you need when it comes to diverse groups. Like, if you have a diverse group of friends, you're going to hear the different viewpoints. You're going to hear the different situations and stories that they have and be like, damn, I didn't know it was like that. So what do we do? Work together to overcome this. I think right now he probably doesn't have, like, even though he has the Black Caucus on his side or whatever you were saying, I feel like that's just so recent that he genuinely just he hasn't been engrossed in that until he was the mayor of South Bend.
I don't know. He served in the military, so he had to be around people of color.
Fairly recent, though.
But here's the thing. But I mean, he's been around people of color. He knows.
And regardless of whether he's regardless of whether he's grown up with black people, been around black people, seen black people, went to war with black people, it's all irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that as part of this campaign, this has been a pain point for his entire campaign. And this is indicative of the people that he has around him. Or it's an indication of whether or not he listens to the people that are around him. Because you have some politicians that have, you know, campaign managers and PR folks and, you know, like all these folks around them that they're giving them advice that they may choose to take or not. So in my view, since this has been, this isn't new news. This isn't like, it sprung up to him all of a sudden.
And that's why they asked him directly.
Point.
They didn't ask that question to anyone else.
And see, that's the thing. Like for me, this is a missed opportunity for him in his decision making as part of the campaign, because this entire time, this has been the one pain point about him has been his track record. So if I were in his place, I would have hired a whole bunch of Black people to be part of my campaign to help me, articulate it. Number one, to help me devise a specific Black strategy, because that's the pain point. And then two, to be able to articulate that when this situation comes up. So then he could have easily said, you know what? That is a very good question. I actually have a specific African-American agenda that I am going forward with, because I recognize that I have not done this, or I have not moved the needle enough in my own district. Like that's or
even it's perceived that I'm not caring, his perception right now is everything on him on this topic. That's why literally he was the only one that was asked this question.
Exactly.
They didn't say Elizabeth and Bernie and Joe and everyone else, Amy. They specifically said Pete.
And this is something, in my view, this is something that's so easy to clear up. It's so easy to say, when you're in politics, when you admit you're wrong, it takes the heat off of it.
Absolutely.
100% all the time. We've all seen Olivia Pope. We know that once you tell the truth, nobody has any power over you. So if he would have I'll just go back to my statement that this is indicative of one or two problems. Either A, he has not surrounded himself with the right kind of counsel specifically related to this issue, which is a flaw, a leadership flaw, because it keeps coming up and it's not going to go away. Or two, he's specifically ignoring the conversation, Jerrell, to your point, thinking that if I just dance around the issue, maybe it would just go away. Both of those are the wrong decisions.
And I'll throw a third one in there. I think people at this point just want receipts. If you're saying that you understand it, like you were saying, that you got people around you, if that's the case, then we need receipts, and we need time-specific receipts. We need you to say, 2 weeks ago, I did X, Y, Z. Here are the results. Because everyone is kind of like, at this point, it's too close to the Democratic primary caucus. Yeah. At this point, we were going to be like, okay, I heard enough. Like, it's been a year, and you've had how many debates on national TV, and it's still the same question?
Y'all about to have this man on internet kissing little brown babies now, just to get something.
But the killer part about it is this
Go
is
hang
not,
out
this
with
is
Blue
really
Ivy
not
or something.
This is not a PR thing. Like the reality of it is that if he had a 5-point policy on how he was going to invest specifically in the Black agenda, it's very easy. You pour yourself into mass incarceration reform, number one. You pour yourself into education, into financial relief for disenfranchised communities, number two. You pour yourself into creating safe ways for Black individuals, Black entrepreneurs to own their own businesses and get financing support so that they can own their own businesses. Because one of the things that any economist will ever tell you, that the best way for you to build generational wealth is to ensure that your money is cycling a minimum of 5 times within your own community before it goes outwards. And you see that in Asian communities, you see that in white communities, you see that in Indian communities, but in Black communities, we're the first ones to throw all of our money to other people. We don't even own the liquor stores in our own neighborhoods.
I know, it was funny at the barber the other day. He was like, it's just so interesting. He's like, I sell like wave brushes and the sponge rollers and stuff like that in my shop, the same price as he was like the Asians that are selling it down the street. And he's like, I had a person come in here who didn't want to buy it from me, who'd rather just run down the street to get it. And I'm like, why wouldn't you support your own community? It's literally the same price. You're here, and you just still have it so ingrained that you'd rather go just run down the street because, that's where you just go all the time kind of thing. So it's just interesting. We had that conversation literally a week ago at the barbershop, just like, we need to support our communities because no one else is, and we need to speak up about the issues. And it was interesting the other day, I got a text message like right now you're starting to get these text messages from all the different campaigns and things like that. And they were just asking, oh, are you supporting Bernie for the upcoming Democratic primary, et cetera, et cetera? I was like, I'm voting for whoever the Democratic thing is because we got to get old boy out. However, comma, here's the issues that I foresee. And I literally wrote a thesis in this text message back to whoever randomly texted me about this. And I posted it, I think, on Instagram where he said, okay, thank you. If you have any more questions, email me at this. I was like, oh, they didn't think I was going to be ready to come back with this kind of response. Then they weren't ready for that. And then literally I get home that same day, literally take my shoes off, get a ding dong at the door. And it's the ground roots here in Georgia of trying to get Democrats to vote and everything like that. And I literally had a half-hour conversation with him as well. And actually, I'll post it on our social media because he provided me a link, specifically within Georgia, of where we can make sure that you are still registered to vote because they just purged 300,000 people out the system. Mm-hmm. So please be diligent on making sure wherever you are in this country that you're still registered to vote.
Register.
You could go to like vote.org, but I have one specifically that I'll post on social media that's specifically a link for Georgia because it's just so prevalent of them purging folks out of the record books. But I was specifically asking them, I was like, in these poor communities, they're getting rid of polling places. It's making people have to drive farther to polling places where they're already working 2-3 jobs. They can't afford to get a babysitter for them to run out and try to vote. They're not aware that you can vote early. They're not aware that there's absentee ballots and things like that. How are you guys communicating this to people? Because even if your polls are saying that, oh yeah, looks like the Democrats are going to win this year, if it comes to that day and their little kid is sick and they can't afford a babysitter, they are not going to vote. How are we making this easier for poor communities that don't have the funds and the means to get out there and vote when life is hitting them hard? They're living paycheck to paycheck, and the reality they got to go to work.
So while you were sharing that, I just went to Pete Buttigieg's website. And he has a whole black agenda that he didn't even mention.
That's what I've said. That's what someone in the community said.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, why, if you have this already on your website, why are you not speaking articulately to this? Like why? Houseway. So anyway.
Drake. He don't get it.
Right.
Drake. Because he simply just don't get it. He don't understand it. And so there's no way for him to articulate something that he can't simply comprehend. He can't comprehend the issues that Black and brown people are suffering through. And it just sucks because he's a white person and he didn't choose to be, just like we didn't choose to go through any of the struggles we go through, but he just can't understand. And to me, that says more about him because it's not about trying to feel what we feel. It's about at least understanding or having empathy or compassion to what's happening, or just simply acknowledging that this is a real thing, and he can't simply just do that. And to me, that says enough. I don't care that he has an agenda. The fact being that he can't acknowledge it, like you said, and articulate it correctly, fuck your agenda. Because you obviously are showing that it doesn't make sense to you. You can't comprehend.
And you've had prime time opportunities to do so.
Yeah.
So, and I know there's people probably screaming at the radio and the headphones right now because we always pick on Pete, especially Kerel. And it's not that I don't think he's a good candidate. I think he's very smart. I think he does have plans. I think for him specifically, he just needs a little more time to bake. Like he needs a little more life situations to hit him in the face to be like, I get it now why Jerrell said that, or I get why homeboy down the street said that time. I didn't get it then, but I get it now.
I'm going to say it again, and I've said it plenty of times, and I said it all June of 2019. This is one of those issues that I have a lot of white gay men, where it's like, you know what? If anyone should understand that there is the struggles that POC people go through, it should be the LGBTQIA plus community.
That's true.
And as a white gay man, if you can't understand it as a gay man, that just shows me the white man in you is benefiting more of the white privilege than going through the marginalized part of being gay. And so you can't
or even
understand.
articulate it, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe he understands it and he just can't articulate it. But like I said, like you just said, if you've been through the struggles of a gay man, you should be able to articulate it in a different manner, in a different way, because we've all been through struggles.
Yes.
just like as a gay man, you look to those of us like the Black people to support you, because we should be able to understand the discrimination that you're going through.
And don't get me wrong, all the candidates up there are kind of struggling around this agenda again. It's the same thing for the last 500 years of this country. But at least Elizabeth Warren, to me, brings it up without having to be asked a question and things like that. It could be a smart chess. It could be a chess move, honestly. But
she's bringing it up. She's the only one who actually doesn't struggle with this topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't struggle with this topic at all. In fact, when I watched the debates, she is the only one out of that entire stage that didn't have to struggle for words.
Yeah.
Not a single time.
She come ready. Warren is always ready. She's like fucking Xena Warrior Princess.
Yes, she is.
She's ready, bitch. She is up in that bitch with Gabby on the wings, being like, "Come on, Gabby, we about to do this. Let's go!" Like, I'm here for her.
Or Amy on the wings. Amy wasn't good last night, though.
No,
Amy was terrible. She had a bad night.
She said, and she's like, "And my friend from Kansas,
Yep.
yeah, we're good friends."
Then she looked down at her piece of paper.
Right.
And then somebody in the audience said it, and she goes, "Right."
Yeah, thank you. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Just from doing this podcast, there's been times where you be on a roll and then your brain just shut off for a second. You're like, what was I talking about? And what was I about to say? So I get it, but it was just a funny ass moment.
But she was struggling all night. All of her responses were like, her timing was off. She was like, there was a point where she was like getting ready to answer a question that the moderator didn't even ask her yet. And she wasn't going to ask her that question. So she was just having a rough night.
Yeah, she ain't going to be in the next one.
Question for you guys, and you don't have to say who, but have you made up your mind yet on who you would vote on in the primary?
Nope. I just said I'm still grieving the lack of POC representation. So, I got to get to that.
I don't care. I care and I don't care this round. I just need old boy out the White House. So I'm voting for, like how Issa said, I'm voting for everybody Black. I'm voting for everybody Democratic.
I get it. And I think we can all agree, and we've said this before, that, we're fully going to support whoever gets the Democratic nomination. So, I know we talk about these people like a dog, but at the end of the day, we'll throw our support their way. We're not going to pull a Bernie, and be like, boo-hoo, because my guy didn't get the nomination, and then I'm going to throw away my vote.
I'm fighting everyone. I'm
wish I would
find somebody who
single
vote.
One. On my life.
Who didn't vote.
On my
you
life.
getting cut out.
On my life.
You're out of the community. You're ex-community.
You catch a quick 1-2. Let me see you.
You're ex-community aided. You're out. Gone.
No, I'm concerned, you can stay with your black eye that I'm gonna give you. So look, no.
But I've made up my mind who I'm voting for. Because at the end of the day, you have to pick somebody.
Yeah.
Right. You got to vote.
To me, I'm leaning towards Warren. I can't say why specifically, outside of every time I've watched her, she just seemed the most put together and the one that's just like, I am all the way in this. Her homework is ready. She didn't double checked it. And you don't see her stumbling and tripping over herself like a lot of the other candidates. The person that comes next would be Bernie for me. And I say Bernie because of the fact that, he has a lot of his past speaks volume as far as his vision. And so you can really lean on as far as his examples of him walking the step, walking the walk. So Bernie would be my second. And then my third would be Joe.
Yeah. I think my first is Elizabeth right now, just pretty much for the same reasons. Like, she's bringing up issues without having to be prompted to bring them up. So that's showing me, at least, I think that is on top of her mind, or at least somewhere in her mind. It might literally be a chess move. It might be her people telling her, make sure you bring this up, but at least it's brought up on national TV. And she just seems prepared. Like, I like preparation. I like people that have their receipts. I like the data points. I like them
really
making like, I know, right? I know, it's this
but,
weird
comma,
split.
and however.
I'm pretty sure that's the 5th time she didn't say data points today.
It's serious.
Right.
If you are the president of the United States, and honestly, like the president of the free world, honestly, you better have preparation, know your data, know your points, because it affects the globe.
I felt really bad for what's his face? The one that used to be the vice president.
Oh, Joe Biden.
Biden. I felt really bad for him because he was having a lot of senior moments, just like I just had. He was having
right. But to lock both of y'all up in the hole.
But you know what? I don't know what is going on with his face, but have y'all checked out his face? It looks like he got a new attitude.
Oh, he got the Jane Fonda do.
What's wild is that it's from like the cheeks down below. So it's almost like he got like Botox all in like the bottom part of his face because it looks really tight and taut. But the top face has all the wrinkles and the emotions and stuff like that. So yeah, it looked a little weird, but he had a bad night. I tend to agree with both of you guys. I won't say like who I'm going to vote for because I don't want to like, just put that out there.
You asked the question. Bitch, you asked the question. You're not about to do that. You better answer the question. Yo ass answer.
Cut this whole part out because I wasn't about to say it, but you asked.
Okay.
Y'all going to excommunicate me?
She really tried it. Okay.
No, honestly, I posted it on my Instagram. When this airs, it'll have been last week, but I posted on my Instagram, like Elizabeth Warren won it for me tonight. Her closing remarks, because what she said in her closing remarks, she said, in our break, because they took a commercial break, it was straight through for the entire thing, except for right before the final comments. And she said, when we had our break, I actually wrote down all the topics that we didn't discuss tonight. And she mentioned people of color. She mentioned trans women. She mentioned reproductive rights. And there's a whole list of other things that she mentioned. And I was just like, you know what? This is somebody who understands the plight of the people.
And how to play the game, too.
Yeah, facts. And you need both.
Exactly.
And you need both. And let's be clear, the bar is set really low with the person that's occupying the White House right now. And if history shows us anything, just based on the last election when Hillary, won the popular vote by more than 3 million, right? This won't be, I don't believe that this vote thing will be, this election thing will be, what do I want to say?
Come on, Biden.
Come on, see.
Right. I'm having a senior moment. I need a little Botox in my chin right now. No, I believe there is enough vigor in the American people to stand behind the Democratic nominee. So if what we've seen in the other areas of government where we've seen a rash of an influx of a lot of other women and minorities being elected into office, that motivation will continue. I firmly believe that.
Let me be your motivation. Yeah. And we've kind of held off having this long of a conversation about politics just because we just know 2020 is about to be a huge year for it. But I just felt like since it was the last Democratic thing, we had to kind of voice our opinions on it. And before we get out of here, too, the Oscars are so white again and very male dominated.
I'm not watching.
I'm not watching.
I'm with Issa Rae on this.
Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations to those guys.
Congratulations to those men.
I'm rooting for everybody black, but there's only one person.
She said congratulations to those men.
Yeah. I'm literally only rooting for Cynthia Erivo, for Harriet, and then I'm rooting for the I forget the name of the black animated about the hair, about the father.
Oh, the hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm rooting for that. But other than that, nothing.
Alexa, help us with that name.
Like Like, I don't understand how they could miss it that much. But we also shouldn't be surprised because the Oscar nominations are most often mirrored to the Golden Globes. So we should have known once we saw how the Golden Globe nominations came out, what it was going to look like for the Oscars.
Especially in a year that there were so many opportunities and so many great performances of people of color.
That's the thing.
Like Lupita, Awkwafina, that Chinese movie, that Parasites. Like, these are brilliant movies. And you had an opportunity to keep the diversity there because there are actually roles and opportunities and great performances out there this year.
Yeah.
And when it comes, I'm like, really? Like, I mean, as much as I watched that Marriage Story movie with Scarlett Johansson, great performances. But I was like, Lupita's performance in Us was just as great as Scarlett's in that. So, like, what am I missing here?
Right.
Yeah. We knew Old Girl was going to probably win it for Judy. So it is what it is. She did a great job in that. So I can't front on that. But it's just like,
they pulled a Trump on us, is what they did. We had a year full of black, and then they said, okay, now that you have that, we're gonna do a flashback to all the white stuff that's going
For real.
on.
Absolutely.
So now 2020, that's what we got. We got the Golden Globes gonna be all white. Right, exactly. So then that's what we're gonna see all this year, and then we're gonna have a black comeback. Black and brown comeback.
A comeback like Insecure season 4.
Yes. And April
12th. Community, this is your forewarning.
Yeah. We're going
to
to be recapping that. If you have not watched
any seasons, now is the time to get caught up because we're going to talk about season 4. B, make sure you keep watching season 4 because it's not going to be a binging opportunity. They come once a week. And I guarantee you we're probably going to want to talk about it each week like we did Pose.
We are going to talk about it.
So this is your forewarning that Insecure is coming back April 12th.
So you better catch it.
And we're gonna be watching this. And even if it's on the podcast or even like an Instagram, something, it's gonna be everywhere. So
like I was taping Serena playing tennis, and then I saw on MinoriTea report that she won. I was like, oh well.
And you saw it from
guess
me.
I ain't gotta
Patrick.
watch that.
Hey, that's the twice. Patrick done re-Instagrammed us twice of me saying, hey Patrick. And he be on the quickness with it too.
He does. Yeah, so, he does.
I think it's just becoming a thing. I think he kind of has a crush on me at this point, you know.
Well, he does like the chocolate.
He sure do.
He does.
He sure do.
He know what's up.
Hey, Patrick. Ooh,
he's invited to the barbecue.
Yeah.
Anybody that can coach.
And he got some cakes.
But he has to be in those white shorts that Dawon likes to see. That Kerel likes to see him in.
Girl,
when you posted when you posted what's the third photo on your phone right now? I knew as soon as I saw, I was like, I know exactly why this photo is in your phone right now.
And I had just did it too. Like he was on Instagram. I was like, ooh, screen cap. And then I had like 2 screen caps of him and then like Corey and Tucker doing something. And I was like, it would be this one screen cap. And I was like, I'm going to be honest. This is what it was.
This is what it was. And then we zoom right on in.
Hey, it is what it is. But I know Dawon was upset with me for commenting about Serena winning the match. I didn't know he was DVRing. But who DVRs live sports and expects us not to comment? Like Dawon.
But it was on at what time? What time was it on?
It was like 11.
Midnight.
It was 11 o'clock at night. I'm not staying up for 2.5 hours.
And it was like 8 o'clock my time.
So usually, if like for Australian Open, I don't stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning for those.
True.
I DVR it, so then I watch it in the morning before I go to work.
But it was the championship match, so I had to say hey to Patrick. And he just hopped up on the screen. I was like, hey, Patrick. I mean, it is what it is.
I love it.
Oh, Lord. But anyway, community, thank you for riding with us. Please be sure to download, subscribe, and share. We say it every episode, but continue to do so. Review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. That's another key to keep us up in their algorithm and all that stuff. Post us on IG. Share it with your fan base and your friend base and your family base. Come on, help promote us. Help promote us, please. But we thank you for rocking with us. And yes. I think that's it for right now, right?
Yes, you guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you on social.
Bye, y'all.